Has the conference been wonderful so far? It's been really great for me. I want to take the time out first to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got interested in doing this. I am a single mom, 2 daughters. I have 2 grandchildren. I am an Air Force vet. I retired from the post office 27 years. I decided to go back to school in my latter years. I believe God said, you need to go back to school to do the things I need you to do and the things I want you to do. So at 56, I enrolled in to get my bachelor's in psychology. Thank you. I am now in my final semester to get my master's in mental health counseling. Yeah. I'm a board member of an organization called Embrace Life. I'm a speaker on the Abortion Survivors Network. My story has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about. Does our past define us? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the theorists who identified these different styles. And so with that, I forgot I have to do this. John Bowlby, he is a psychologist who studied monkeys and how they related to their mother. Noticed some differences and some similarities. He went on to that to deal with actual children and their mothers to find out how these children reacted to their parents, caregivers, grandparents, aunties, whoever their caregivers were. He decided to, just like most researchers, he looked at these and he came up with some different styles. And so with that, oops, I went too far. He was a German psychologist. He studied under Freud. Him and Freud did not always agree upon the differences in science. And so he ventured out on his own. He's a psychoanalyst. And with that, like I just said, he decided, I'm going to study and find out how children deal with their caregivers. And it had a lot to do, for those of you who don't really know about this, when you get into something like this, you always use yourself as the base. You know, why am I like this? And we do some studying. And that's what most of them have done. Reflecting on their own lives and how they came up, they decide, well, let me check into this and see if I'm not the only one. He found out he was not the only one. He had a woman come along. Her name was Mary Ainsworth, who came along also with him to help with the study of attachment style theories. So there are 4 attachment styles. The attachment styles, they develop in children. Some say from utero up until the age of 5. Some say from the time of birth up until 5. Infants and toddlers, they were monitored by their parents. The attachment styles are dealing with early trauma. In my studies, I found that a baby experiences trauma coming through the birthing canal. They experience trauma once they get here. Now, I've had 2 daughters, 2 children, and I'm thinking, oh, I had to do most of the work. I had to push and get this out of me. But I have since found out coming through the canal and stuff, what that child goes through. And then some children, in my era, you know, they had the the forceps, and what that did to a child. And so all of this has come about to come up with different attachment styles. I'm going to tell you briefly my story, and you'll see the connection there for a moment. I was born in 1957. My mother was married to my father. She had just had a child in December. Finds out a few months later, she's pregnant with me. Mom said, I don't want to have another child. It's too early. I don't want to do this. So my mom tried to abort me. And old school, she thought that if she sat on pans of hot boiling water, the steam would, would do that and break the sac and I would come out. It didn't happen. Was not satisfied. She was determined I was not coming. Her next method was using a coat hanger. Yeah, that didn't work. And so she finally told my father she was gonna have another child. That sets off that trauma that I experienced in womb, set the journey of my life. Fighting, always with my mother. Not really trusting, trying to let her know I'm worth being here. You didn't do wrong by having me. Now I'm 65. I was 62 when my mom shared this with me. And I thought, well, I'm here now. Ain't much you could have done. God got me here for a reason. I didn't take it the way some who would have taken it in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even me. Because I think I would have been just ultimately out of this world, unforgiving. But through my journey from my 20s up into my 40s, God shared with me and showed me what forgiveness truly was, because he knew that at 62, my mom was going to tell me this and I needed to respond the right way. And so with that, I'm able to say my mom passed away 2021. I cared for her last 4 months of her life. We were able to really reconcile. My mom asked me to forgive her and I told her I had. And she said, I've learned more about you in these last 3 weeks. In your whole, it was 63 years of life. And I to myself, I thought, that was your choice, but you missed out because I'm an awesome woman. And so with that, as I'm in school studying and I'm seeing these attachment styles and then popping up, and I was reading, I was like, oh, is that why I do the things I do? Oh, that's describing me. So I'm digging deeper and I'm getting books and I'm reading books on this. And oh, I can't go. I gotta do this, sorry. My daughter's trying to record me, but I gotta do my stuff. So we have 4 attachment styles. And they are anxious, fearful, avoidant, and secure. And so what I am going to do with you is I'm going to hopefully break each one down, allow you maybe to recognize for yourself where you fit at in these 4 theories or styles. At the very end of my my slideshow, you'll see a barcode, a QR code and a link, and you can take the quiz yourself. It's a 2-parter. You answer the questions when you were a child, and you answer the questions as an adult in the relationships, and you'll see the difference. And so let's get on. I want to tell you about anxious attachment style in children. So these children usually exhibit high anxiety. They have a fear of abandonment. They have a fear of being alone. And they deal in a chronic survival mode. Somebody help me out. Help me get through this. With that, for those that are anxious, the biggest fear for these people are being abandoned. Who's going to be there for me? And so, because a child is learning new words every day, they don't have the words really to express themselves, especially for the express themselves for support. Mommy, I fell, I hurt myself. Kids will use, I got a boo-boo, or, something happened. And parents, we take these lightly. And it's like, oh, you'll be okay, go on. I ain't got time for this. I'm trying to cook dinner, or whatever excuse we use. Those are the children usually that exhibit anxious attachment style. As a child, you might have been put in an unfair position to help a parent feel better when they were having a hard time. That is not a child's job, to be that caregiver or anything for their parent. But we do it a lot of times indirectly, especially if you're a divorced or single mom and you need that. We tend to go towards whoever's there. It's usually our children. And instead of we allowing them to be children, playing and acting outside and doing all of a sudden we make them a little mini adult and they're there for our needs. And so those are the ones who have a negative self-image. They have a sense of unworthiness. But they generally elevate others positively. And so I have, in the 4 styles, anxious has 3 different categories. And I used to do this. I'm partly anxious, but I would elevate other people above me so I can go, oh, look how I help them. Is this ringing true for anyone in here? Okay. Those who are anxious, they display an aggressive behavior. When they're separated from their parents, there's a fear of strangers. They don't know why it's there. It's because they don't have comfort from their parents. So everything scares them. Everything is scary to them. And they have poor relationships with other children. Let me see. Okay. Anxious attachment styles in an adult. As an adult, the way they communicate might end up pushing away the other person they want support for or from. They can be quick to feel hopeless and show their disappointment. They're also fearful, and that you see how it stems from the childhood, it comes on up into the adulthood, still fearful, clinging, demanding, jealous. All of this is because of the way they were treated as a child. Now, these things just don't go away as we get older. A lot of times we wish that they would. They continue to follow us into our grade school years, our adolescent years, our young adults, for some of us, our mature years, and we're wondering, why am I doing the same thing I did as a child? We're going to talk about that. The next one, the one I want to talk on real quick is they long for security and safety. In all relationships, especially as a child, they want to feel secure in that home and safe. For those kids who have anxious, they had no safety and no security. They might have had a little bit, maybe, I don't know, I'm like maybe a small amount, but it wasn't enough to give them what they needed to know. I can go to my mom and dad for anything. They're always going to be there. That's what an anxious person goes through. The next one is avoidant, also known as avoidant dismissive. This child is withdrawn, resists help. You know, sometimes they call that strong-willed child. I can do it myself. I don't need you. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can do it. They can be very aggressive, antisocial. They even have studies showing they bully others, and they lie. The main thing is about separation from others. Children with avoidant attachment style tend to avoid parents or caregivers, showing no preference between a caregiver or a stranger. You're all the same to me. You wasn't there, and so I can't trust you. This attachment style might be a result of abusive or neglectful caregivers. And again, if the caregiver, whoever they might have been, was not there to give that child safety. And I want you to think of it like this. When a child goes out and plays and they might fall and scratch themselves and stuff, they come running the house crying. And your mama goes, oh, you'll be fine. Let me put a Band-Aid on. Let me kiss the boo-boo. You want a candy bar? Yeah, and they go out and play. And anxious and avoidant, they don't get that. they get, I think I had said earlier, you'll be fine, suck it up. Little boy, be a man and don't cry. I don't know where that comes from. And for a little girl, when we don't get that safety or security from a parent, we're like this, then I can do it without you. I don't need you. I can do this myself. So again, we got grade school. I can do it myself. I got teenage years. I can do it myself. You got your young adult years. And for some, my mature years, I can do it myself. That attitude, and it has started as early as childhood. So avoidant attachment style in adults, they have a tendency to avoid emotional intimacy. They are self-reliant, independent, and freedom. They have freedom. I can do it myself. I'm free to do whatever I want. Nobody can tell me how I'm going to act. I'm an adult. I'm a grown blankety woman. I can do this myself. Heard that in my household a lot, and I've said it myself. One of the other things is an avoidant attachment style as adult, engage in adultery or affairs. You know, again, the course says, does my past define me? And we can decide how we want our past to define us. And so when we're talking about engaging in affairs, usually there's studies that show that it's in our DNA and our family lineage. It didn't just happen. We saw it directly and indirectly. Uncle Tom came over today. Well, Uncle Tom, here's breakfast. Uncle John came last Friday. Oh, Uncle John's here for breakfast. We got all these uncles coming in and out, and ain't none of them my daddy. What's going on? I'm being taught how to handle men. And, oh, and so, fearful avoidant is also known as disorganized. A child fears trusting others, don't know how to because there was never no one there to teach them how to trust. They desire comfort and closeness. And a lot of times when it's given to them, it's usually on the other person's way they want to do it. You know, you have this thing about these aunties, and they come over and they swallow you up and they're smothering you and stuff. Nobody want that. That's what this is talking about. I want comfort, but not the way you want to give it. They avoid eye contact. Because if you were actually to take some time and look into a person's eyes when you're talking, you can see a lot about that person. And they'll start telling, you see me, I can trust you, and I might tell you something about myself. And so in order for that not to happen for this avoidant child, or even adult, I'm not looking you in your eye. I'll look all around. I'll never really make eye contact with you. They also have, which is most of them that are anxious, in the anxious category, lack of safety. They just don't know how it is to be safe or what it feels like. As an adult, the traits that adults show is a need for control and security. How many of us, I'm in control of my own life. Can't tell me nothing, I'm in control. They have a limited sense of safety, always feeling like something will go wrong. When's that other shoe gonna drop? This can't be real. It's been months and I'm doing okay. Is that supposed to really happen in my life? Whoa, what? That sense of anxiousness and that heightened, can't live like that long. They have a negative view of others. They may be very focused on their career rather than other people. And you have those, all career-minded, I ain't got time. I might can do a date a month. I might have some time to have a baby in there. I'm not sure. It's not in my portfolio and it's not in my timeline. And so we will put more trust in our jobs and our careers than we do our family or our kids. They are also people pleasers. Oh, sorry. No, thank you for reminding me. Okay, oops, went too far. So in the fearful avoidant in adults, low self-esteem, they fear rejection, engage in casual sex, and they have difficulty with emotion in relationships. I heard that. Want me to repeat that again? When we're gonna have time for question and answers. Oh, we're gonna get some time for that. I love that. They are also the ones with the fearful avoidance. They're people pleasers. They, can I get a friend over here? Can I get what do you want me to do? They'll put others again before they do for themselves. But they find it hard to maintain friendships and elevated levels of anxiety. Because their anxiety is heightened. They wake up tense. They go to bed tense. They sleep tense. And that is their whole lifestyle. So those three that I talked about are under anxious. Now, I want to give you the main one, and I was surprised when I was doing my research that under secure, over 50% of people are in a secure attachment style. What does that look like? That means as a child, they were supportive, they were helpful, and worthy of respect. They interact with other children and they're trusting. Remember I said the child who goes out and plays and something happens, they come home and mom and daddy go, oh, let's fix it, blah, blah, blah. And they're fine. And they send it back out because they know there's a place that they can come, get that safety and that security and go, okay, they're still here. Let me go out and play a little bit longer. They're looking and they long for that. And so when I saw that over 50% of the population that they study fall under secure, I was like, I thought most of them fell under anxious. And so an individual with a secure attachment style exhibits consistency, interdependent, and a confident style of relating in a relationship. So the person who has the secure attachment style, they got confidence in themselves. They what do you call it? The gumbo meal or the combo meal and the bag of chips and the large, I'm sorry. And that large bag of chips. They are so comfortable in themselves that another person cannot come along and redefine them. Okay. Some of you in here are like that. And it's over 50% are the ones who scored high in this. They maintain a healthy balance, relying on their partner and meeting their own needs. I got a partner, but I also know I can do this for myself. Not in that arrogant way, like, I can do this. I understand that I can do this. I can let my partner do it, or we can come together and he go, honey, can you do it? Sure, I can. I don't have a problem with that. Let me see. They are able to create deeper intimacy without vulnerability while maintaining their individuality. What does that look like? So, and the other ones, they dealt with sex. They okay with the man being in charge. The man's okay with them being in charge at times. It's a give and take, but it's a healthy give and take, meaning that they have talked about this beforehand. And I'm not just like, we said this commercial when I was younger. It was for Charlie Perfume. I can bring home the bacon. I can fry it up in the pan and never, ever let you forget you the man, because I'm a woman. I used to, youngster, that was my mantra. So I can make you feel like you're the man, but I'm bringing home that bacon too. You can't have none of this. That's quite not secure, but so with the anxious person, they are confident in themselves. They truly know who they are, not in an egotistical way or rambunctious, I'm in your face kind of way. They're just like, I know who I am. There you go, that self-assurance. And so with that, in the adults, security is honesty, support, independence. They are confident and exploratory. They can go out and explore and come back and be okay with what they found out to bring it home. They have security in their relationships. Seeks out caregiver when distressed. I think that probably should be under the children. So when a child has gotten himself in a situation, they know mom and daddy's going to be there. And that's what it means. I think I put on the wrong slide. They seek out that caregiver when they're distressed to help calm them down, to help them see everything is going to be okay. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie, whoever, we got you. And that's the security being shown to this child. And it goes into our adulthood. And so what is it? Which one so far, I don't want you to speak out loud, do you think you might be? Think about it. I want you to think about it. As I had shared a little bit about my story, about my mom trying to abort me, and my mom and our relationship was not good. We were always bumping heads. She would say it's blue and I say it's dark blue. She would say, you got to do this. And I go, why? Because I'm the mom and I said so. So I tried it once. That's not good enough for me. And I got hit upside the head. You don't question me. But that always was the answer, because I'm your mom and I said so. So I started just saying it in my head. I was like, I'm gonna stop getting hit. I'm gonna learn. And so I would question, but I questioned silently. Let me see if y'all can decide for me if you know what my attachment style was. Because I did not receive love or security or safety from my family, I went out looking for it. And I ended up with men who didn't want me, but I thought, oh, it's a man. And he winked at me or he smiled. That means he must want me. I found myself pregnant 3 more times, and I had 3 abortions. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And when, with sex, you're gonna either get a disease, some pleasure, or a baby. And most of the time it seemed like baby for me. And I allowed myself, because of the way I was raised, I put my family's thoughts before mine. And I remember when I with my first abortion, and I went in and they said, well, you can just abort the baby. And I went, okay. But I went back in and I said, I changed my mind. I don't want to. And they said, too late. You already said this. And so at 24, I didn't know any better and I let them do it. I got pregnant again the next year and I had decided I'm going to keep this child. Well, I allowed myself to be, what's the word? I allowed a family member to self-impose their beliefs on me, wore me down, and I had another abortion. So I get pregnant again. 1984. I decide I'm gonna have this child. I tell my family, y'all can disown me. I don't care. I'm not aborting another child. And I did. I have my youngest child here today. She's 37. What happens with me? I got pregnant again. My mom used to say, fertile myrtle. And I just thought, my child wasn't even 6 months old, and I had my third abortion. What I did not share with you is after my first one, I contemplated suicide. It hit me. And I had a coworker. I'd go to work that night. I came in crying. We worked together. What's wrong with you? And I told her, I killed my baby and I'm going to hell. At the time, I was not a Christian. I was not a believer. And she sat there in the bathroom and just talked with me. And she goes, God loves you. I was like, no, he doesn't. You don't understand what I did. And we sat in that bathroom for a half hour. And she hugged on me and she cared for me. And we were able to get up and go out and work. The third one, I just knew I was gonna kill myself. What kind of woman has 3 abortions, not married? I was divorced at the time, not married. My life to me was in the pit. My family wasn't really there for me. What kind of woman does this? It just crushed me. At this time, I started going back to church. And I believe God said, let's deal with them. We're going to deal with your abortions. And I went to a class. I dealt with each period of time that I was in. And he showed me forgiveness for each time. I'm telling you, that forgiveness, that love, that was shown me, Karen, Lynn, Williams, Causey, is something I carry to this day. I do classes now for women and men who've gone through the abortion experience. No condemnation, no more guilt, no more shame. He took that cloak off of me. He says, I got a new one for you. And it's called forgiveness and it's called life. And that's what I have for you. So with that, thank him. Yes, he's worthy. Yes. Can you all tell me, you think you know what my attachment style might have been? And you might have been, I want you to remember, you think you might know what my attachment style might have been? Okay. Anyone else? Greek. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When we get to the question and answer, we're going to step up to the mic there so they can get it online. I'm sorry, I forgot about the online people. I'm sorry, you said fearful avoiding. Okay, anyone else? You're right. It's fearful avoiding. Like I said, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. If he was a man, I was like, okay, I think you like me. I hope you like me. And I was jumping in bed looking for what I could not receive in my childhood or my teenage years or even my early adult years. With that, I said, I used to do this. So I said earlier about God's forgiveness and his love. He said, 2 Corinthians 5:17, it said, any man be in Christ, he's a new creation. He said, Karen, that old stuff has passed away. I'm going to show you some new things. All that stuff I did back then, it's no longer have a hold on me. No, it doesn't. I'm going to show you some new things, new ways of handling life situations. Like this again. I took that. That was some 37 years ago. My daughter's 37. And God has been showing me that ever since. It is such, it's so hard to explain that type of love that he has for me, that he has for all of you. Because he said, that old way of living, how's it going so far? All past the thing. How's that been working for you so far? I got a new way of doing things. If you want, didn't force me, gave me a choice. And I'm telling you, the choice from that, the garbage pit, to even sitting on top of a garbage was much better for me. And so I chose, yes, Lord. I come here to say to all of you, your past does not have to define you. It does not. We have choices in our lives to change, to do the right thing. Now, how long is this going to take? Sometimes it can take a while. Why does it take a while? Because sometimes I revert back to the oldest. I'm hard-headed. I can do it my way. I'm grown. Okay, see how this works out for you, Miss Grown. And I'm telling you, every time God has said, are you ready to do this my way? And yes, Lord, I am. I'm sorry, I'm getting away from the slides. So how do you heal the anxious self? You acknowledge first that it exists. There's so many of us who are in denial about the way we were raised or what we went through. We are giving it power that it does not belong any further. So you have to decide for yourself. First, I need to recognize which attachment style that I fall up under. I did tell y'all I was in school to become a counselor or a therapist. Okay, find a therapist. Now, I heard somebody, I think it was a lady in the general session, or it might have been an early talk. Well, I tried it once and it didn't work. Well, try it again. That didn't work. Try it again. See, because we'll keep doing the old stuff again and again and again, and then give the new stuff maybe 1 or 2 times. Yeah, no. You have to persevere if you want that good life, that new thing. So what does that look like? So you get a counselor, they don't work for you, find someone else. They're not working for you, it's about you and your health. Do what needs to be done to get that help. Find a therapist. One of the suggestions said adopt a pet. My granddaughter got a dog. My youngest daughter got a dog. They love me to death. I love them, but I don't want a pet. But they seem to, what's the word? I'm gonna get it. Healing the avoidant self. Yeah. Mindfulness and being fully present. So what does that look like? Again, really it is recognizing where I am. And you're going to collaborate and get some support. For some of you, a therapist or counselor is just they're not available to you because of pricing or maybe transportation or whatever. But I know that you have at least one good true friend that you can sit down and talk with. Support. Come together with that friend. Let him know, you know what? I heard this woman talking about some stuff and I need someone to help me with this. It doesn't always have to, there's no, pat way of doing things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If y'all do this, you're going to be healed. That's not how it works because we all got our own issues and our own denials and our own old beliefs that we have to walk through. So if you're not able to afford a counselor or therapist, find a good friend. In the Baptist church, it's like, go to church, let them pray over you and stuff. That's fine. But they're not always equipped to handle what we're going through. You need this word compassion. I got compassion. There's a little baby dead rabbit in my yard. I got compassion for him. He died in the ice storm. I was like, rise, Lazarus. Got compassion. And so getting compassion for yourself. If somebody comes along and goes, you look like something's going on. What's going on? Nothing. No. Something's going on with you. No, it's a bad day. Girl, you need to sit on down because I'm not going anywhere. You need to talk about this. We have to be that kind of stick-to-itness, that friend, that word to know I see something, even though you're not recognizing it. I'm not going nowhere until we talk through this. Sometimes we have to be that bold with a friend Oh, you shut the door in my face? I got the key to the back door. I'm not going nowhere. We have to be that type of, what's the word I'm looking for, Nicole? I'm gonna think of it again. Self-worth. Help establish your new self-worth. If any man be in Christ, he's a new creation. I'm telling you that old, and it would be like if I could erase all of this, it's gone. My past is gone. I am not giving it the power to come in my life and tell me how I'm going to continue to be this type of person. I'm going to get myself in with somebody who can support me, that's going to pour new things into me. If that means getting into a Bible study, a support group, or one of them group meet things or whatever, get what you got to do to get support and compassion to help build up your self-worth. Because I'm telling you, this is work. It really is. Because just when you think, or no, it's like I'm coming out that pot, and guess who's grabbing that leg? The evil one. No, shake harder, get up off of me. I got new things to do. I got new ways to learn how to be the person I've been called to be. How do you heal the fearful avoiding? You got to understand. I got to understand what I came through. It says here, educate your partner, educate yourself. Or if you're dealing with a partner who is a fearful avoidant, educate them. And that doesn't mean going home and go, look, honey, I got this book here, read it. Here's a Google or YouTube, watch it. That's not what that means. It's, step by step. I'm gonna show you some things. Because I'm always telling people, I can show you better than I can tell you. So if I can show you what love looks like, and when you reject it, my hand, or you reject it, I'm like, oh. I'm gonna show you what love looks like. Because as I'm showing you, I'm also showing me I have the ability, I have the perseverance to come up against the objections that you're throwing at me. I love you that much. Because see, for me, someone did it to me. I had a friend who came along, came to my house all the time, and would sit there in my yard. Dang, when's she going home? And she didn't. She stayed with me in my mess. And that's sometimes what we must do for each other and for ourselves. Remember, you are not an island. You can't do this alone. Get somebody, not someone who's in the same mess with you, because y'all gonna drag each other down. Find somebody who's gone through similar or something and know that they can help you, but pouring into, so now the thing is texting. I'm learning. Text them encouragement. Make affirmations, thank you. Make a plan to have dinner once a month. Go to the park, something, but be committed in this individual's life so that they know someone does care for me. Go from reacting to responding. Do y'all know the difference? Okay, reacting is, I said, do. Responding is, let me think about how I'm going to address this. God said, I think it's James 1:19, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. You apply that, you won't have to worry about reacting. My response, because I'm going to be quick, I'm going to hear everything you got to say. I'm not going to put my own words in it. I'm not going to, okay. I'm going to take my time and formulate in my head how I want to respond to you. Because if I do that, I'm not going to get angry with you because I've taken some time out. I used to be the type of person, first thing came to my mouth, I was saying it. I didn't care. You needed to hear it. It's the truth. Let me tell you where I learned that from. I learned that from my mama. Up until almost her dying day, she would always say that same thing. And I was like, and so again, in the word, God is showing me, it's like, no, that ain't how you do it. I finally understood the terminology of the saying, you catch more bees with honey than vinegar. You know what my response was when I was a kid? That's okay, I don't like honey. I don't even know what that means. I don't like honey. I think I was 40-something when I finally went, Yes. And so what I'm trying to get you to see is that when you decide for yourself, first of all, you recognize your attachment style. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's me. Dang it. What do I do? Okay, you find somebody that you can talk with. For some of your medical plans, you might have, you can go see a counselor like 8 times or whatever. If you can't do that, again, you find a trusting friend. You do find books, read books, get as much knowledge as you can to help you work through this. I do have some books, and I will get those out, that have really helped me with about attachment styles. How it looks, if I'm dating someone who's the exact same way as I am. Boy, we'd be I was a big mess with them, but now I know that there's a different way of doing it. Find out that healthy way of living life. I'm telling you, it pays off. It really does. Again, with that reacting, if you can do more responding, because response comes out of love. And not that I want to hurt your feelings because you hurt mine, tit for tat. I heard what you said and it's dipping in vinegar, but it's said with love, much love as I can muster. No. I'm gonna be quick to listen, slow to speak. I'm gonna be slow to get angry because I know how it worked in the past, which it didn't. And I'm trying to learn these new things and these new ways. The last page, okay. You see that QR code and that link, I guess? That will take you to the attachment style quiz. It might take, there's a lot of them out there. They can take anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour, depending on how many questions they ask. You answer to the best of your ability. So there was some when I did my test, I was like, oh, it's a toss up between B and C. Which one do you walk in most of the time? And that's how I knew how to answer. And that's how you go. Don't spend 5 minutes on a question. Just answer it. If you don't answer it, go back and answer it. And then again, it will give you your attachment style. So when I did mine as a child, for my mother, it showed anxious. For my dad, it showed secure. And I consider myself a daddy's girl. I was usually, when he was home, military, I was around him. When he's out there on his cars, I was there. In the kitchen, I wasn't allowed really in the kitchen, but I learned to cook from afar. I watched, I saw that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a good cook, Nicole. And so my dad was there also, I guess 100% of the time, but he would listen to me. Sometimes I had to get a story from him, but I knew that my daddy would do things for me. And so it breaks down both mother and father. And then the one I believe I gave you, the second one, is about dealing in your adult life and your relationships. Again, you can Google attachment style quiz, and you have a whole gamut. You pick which one. Don't pay for the result. I sent one to somebody. They said, I gotta pay. I said, sorry, I sent you the wrong one. You should never have to pay for your results. I have a saying. There's a saying by Maya Angelou. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Okay, I was like, oh, Maya was deep. What? And this is what we can do. I might not control everything that happens to me, but I can decide how it's going to do. I don't have to be reduced by it. I make the decisions. That should be our mantra. My other one, wait a minute. Where did my other one go? Oh, there's another one. It says, repeat after me. My current situation. Oh, look at that. Yes. I mean, I'm quoting both of these. I have these two up in my office, and I have the 1 Corinthians 13, the love verses. I have all three of these up in my office. Because there'll be some times I come to work, I'm like, I might bite your head off. You better wait till I read these things, because that old Karen, which I found out the other day, is still there. Let me see. Is that the last one? Okay. The what? Oh, my current situation is not my permanent destination. Yeah. So, okay, hold on one second. Oh, yes. That one? Yeah, okay. I'll leave it up there. So we are at our questions and answer period. I hope I can answer your questions. What I would, if you wouldn't mind, there's a microphone in the middle aisle. And so we don't have to be running around. Step up there, ask your question. We might get some questions from online, but I'm here, hopefully, to help you, steer you in the right direction, that you will know that my past don't have to define me. I don't care if I'm 80. I still can change. You got a question from the...
Oh, hello. Yes, we do. All right. So by all means, I'll pass the mic around so y'all can stay seated and beautiful. And I'm going to ask our first question from online. How can we identify our triggers, and what type of support do we need to reduce the effects of these triggers?
Okay, triggers. Love that. One of the words we use in counseling. A trigger is something that will usually take you back and remind you of how you were treated as a child that was not positive. A song. When I got married, smells, yes. Those things would trigger you, and you have to decide. Remember, you got to recognize them. You have to decide, am I going to go back to the old self, or am I going to think this thing through? And sometimes it could be thinking it through. But know this, that when you do recognize these triggers that happen, they're coming up for a reason. We have power in our life. I have control in my life to say, you know what? Not today, Satan. I'm not giving you that power today. I'm choosing to do this differently. And so the next time it happens and you revert back, that's okay. That does not define you. My dad used to go, shake it off and do what you got to do. We have so many chances at getting it right. We really do. Keep taking that test until you pass it. Keep taking it. And so when a trigger happens, like you said, smells, a song, somebody's face, a car, a smell will take you back. Is it taking me back to a good place? If it's not, I need to get rid of it. I need to replace it with something positive. What was that second part of that?
What type of support do we need to reduce the effects of our triggers?
Oh, again, if you can get a counselor or a therapist, get that friend, talk it over. I'm telling you, when we talk things out, we're so surprised how much we have in us. So if I have a person that I can bend their ear, and I'm not talking to any and everybody, you have a certain person that you know that you can trust. It could be your husband, it could be a close friend, blah, blah, blah. Call them up and go, something's happening, and allow them to help you recognize and talk you down. And I hope that helps.
Have any questions from the audience?
Breathe.
So my question is letting go. How do you learn to let go when you feel like the road runner that you're heading forward, but you head back? How do you let go of that attachment, of that thing that is keeping you there?
Before I answer that, I want to say this process is not overnight. It didn't take us a day to get where we are. And the healing process, I'm not going to say it's going to be as long as it was, when we were fighting this. How do I let go? For me, I recognize, what good is this doing me? Me going off every time this person calls, that number shows in my phone. What good is that? Recognize what's going on in your body. Are you sick and tired of being sick or tired of reverting back to those old ways? If you are, how do you replace it? You replace it with positive thoughts, affirmations. So one of my triggers was my ex-husband. Because my marriage, I should not have gotten married. Okay. And so I thought that I had forgiven him and I was going to let him back in my life. Man. Oh. And so when he would say something or text, I went back to 1978 and 79, and I was like, whoa, no, I can't do this. So first of all, I had to drop him, or we did delete him off of my Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I recognized where that trigger sent me. Do you want to stay here or not? If not, recognize there are good things that you can apply to erase that. Not erase it, but to cover it up. And so the affirmations, doing something positive, recognizing that you are no longer that individual. See, the old Karen would have responded this way. That new Karen, she dripping in love. And that's how I'm going to give it each and every time until you can hear that love. So practicing positivity, practicing the affirmations is what is going to erase, and I do mean erase, those negative triggers that'll pop up. You want to come in now? No, not today. I ain't got time for this. See, I got things I'm doing. I got goals I'm trying to achieve. I don't have time to play outside today. Bye. And leave it.
Yeah,
Hope that answers your question.
that's what they're eating tonight or what?
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to say, you don't know my life, okay? You don't know me, ma'am.
They can't hear you.
No, I really, really, really enjoyed
It's
this
an
conversation, and I
African
wanted to
American
know,
conference
because it was
on peer
amazing.
support.
What books did you have or did you read? So I can get them, because you don't know
Okay.
my life.
No, it's
I have them.
hosted through.
My daughter, they're in my backpack, Nicole.
From the calendar, The Sacred Art of
Human
There are
Health
so many good
Services.
books out there about attachment styles. I have one, it says Attachment Styles Workbook, and in it, so for those of, if you're like me,
The Sacred Art of
and I didn't have, my vocabulary was not extensive when it came to positive things. I cuss you out like a sailor and go, ah, gotcha. And so there, in this one, the Attachment Style Workbook, it gives you new words for feelings. And it gives you homework and like worksheets in it that will help work through that. This one is really good. No, this one here also, it breaks down more about adulthood, what happens in adulthood and how do I handle it. My little book there, you see all my little notes and stuff. It's a quick synopsis of these two books. Both have some very good information in them. And like I said, there are others. These are the three that I really rely on when I was doing this, and even in my in school when I was searching this out. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everything's been, that I've heard, it's been really good. I have a 15-year-old granddaughter that I get the opportunity to raise. And her mother was kind of like, in the life or whatever. And so now she lives with me. And this is the thing that her friend's mother tells me. When her and her friend will be at school or whatever, or if they're going skating or whatever, she'll tell the little friend she wants her to come, but she don't want the other girls to come. But I've noticed that I think is what happens is she gets attached. You're my friend and you can't be anybody else's friend. And I wonder, does that come from some abandonment with the mom? She gets attached and she wants to, okay, I don't want to talk to you, and I wonder, does that come from abandonment?
Yes, it very well can come from, remember the caregiver's time period is in utero up to 5 years old. This has been set in us, watching, having somebody come in and indirectly teach us and directly teaching us. Does that mean that it's over for your grandbaby? No. I know 14-year-olds are hard-headed. I was one. I raised two grandkids, helping them out, and they can be very hard-headed. But remember, their current situation is not their permanent destination. How do you help her? Continue to talk to her, continue to pour love into her. Now, that doesn't mean if I talk to her on Friday, by Sunday, she's like, oh, gee, thanks, Granny. No, more than likely. So a new thing has been introduced into her. She's got to mull it over. She's got to make sure it fits her and all this. So what do? You continue to tell her that, how much you love her, how special she is. How would you feel if so-and-so did that to you? Give them options for them to think about and allow them. Kids are not stupid, even the little ones. Mhm.
And all of a sudden the therapist tells me that she shut down. She doesn't want to talk anymore. And she tells me that I don't want the therapist to know my feelings. I'm like, I don't want to share my feelings with her because she doesn't know me. And she said, I might as well just stop because she's closed and there's nothing else that she could do for her. And I told her, I was just explaining, I said, because today, the way that we raise kids and things have changed, you're able to go and see a therapist. When I was coming up, everything was a hush hush. We couldn't go and see a therapist, but she doesn't want anybody to know her feelings.
Yeah. So I'm in my internship with counseling. And okay, the counselor was not able to do that. Find another one. There's a match out there for this hard-headed little 14-year-old. There's a hard-headed 35, 25, 50-year-old counselor. Like, you don't want to talk? That's fine. Let's sit here. She says, I'm going to get paid anyways. Believe me, with prayer, perseverance, persistence, she's going to say something. A good counselor should be able to ask the right questions. I think what happens as therapists, I'm in a group and I listen. We want the kids to like us, like parents do. They don't need to like it, but that ain't your job. Your job here is to hear what they're saying and hopefully direct them. And so with that, a good therapist is one that will engage, even if it's one word. You said something. Next week coming along, they might say 2 words. But perseverance in anything will pay off. I would find someone else. Try to find someone else. Put it out there. This is what's going on. This is, I think this is what she needs. And find somebody, there's enough of us out there. Somebody out there will be able to help her. And this is it. And not in the way I think they should. That's the thing we think as, parents, grandparents, I want you to do it this way. And by 6 weeks, she better come out doing it. No, you don't always. Yeah, I heard the word patience. Yes. We got to be patient with these, with our kids, because that's got to remind you how you was. You might go, huh. Okay. Oh.
We have a couple of more questions, but before people have to leave, I wanted to make sure that you did your survey. If you have not completed your CU survey, there's QR codes. And if you're online, it's in your chat. And if you have not done the survey for the session, there is actually a QR code on the inside and the outside of the door, as well as in your chat, and you can be entered into a drawing for a gift card. So I don't want you to miss out on that as well. We're going to take a couple more questions because our session is coming to the close. I've got 3 people in queue, and we'll see if
Okay.
there's
And I
anyone
want you
else.
to know, for those of you who don't get your question asked, I will stay. And you can come and talk with me. Yes, dear.
Hi, Mom. You did a great job. So
Thank
proud of you.
Wow.
Okay, no. That's my question. My question is, the childhood attachment styles. Is it possible that a child can exhibit attachment style that's contradictory to the way they were raised?
You know what? Yeah, that is. And so I haven't read research on that. Yeah, really, I don't know. But I do know this, that you can change your attachment style. When you recognize, I'm tired of doing it this way, you can't change. So for a child, they might think, well, I don't like getting beat every week or weekend. What do I do to stop doing this? And they might try it and realize, oh, okay, doing this will stop my beatings from coming. I really don't know. Sorry, daughter.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Minister Shirley, and I like the one-liners that you displayed.
Oh.
But in my church, in
Uh-huh.
my messages, I'm the queen of the one-liners.
Oh.
So I've got 3 for you ladies. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. I'm gonna say that again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
Exactly.
I have another one. How can your eyes see when your heart is blind?
That's good.
And
Wait, but Oprah used to say that's tweetable. Tweetable. And Minister Shirley, a third one. Had a question.
We look at things differently than most people. And what we have to do is we have to realize that we are all different. We see things different. And my last one is, when you deal with yourself, use your head. When you deal with others, use your heart.
Amen. You said something earlier, just real quick. There's some here who have been hurt. I mean, scrubbing it hurt. That too, yes. And so what filter, I was just doing some beet juice and my daughter had bought that cheesecloth and I was squeezing it. What filter am I using to be new? Am I still using my old filter? And again, my question would be, how's that working for you? Or do you want a new cheesecloth? Because I went through her whole thing. I had to keep squeezing this, popping out all of. Are you willing to see, I need something new to get over here? What am I filtering it through? That same old stuff? No, let it go. Remember, it's in the past. All things are becoming new. And so get that help, get that support. If you can get a counselor, find one. If you can get a good friend, find one. Get your help today for those of you who are struggling. And I remember I said, like, you go to sleep like this, you sleep like this, you wake up like this. I'm at work and I'm tense. You're missing life. You have a choice today to decide how you want to live from this day forward. Do we have time for one more question?
Just real quick,
Uh-huh.
I didn't have a question. I had a comment. I wanted to first applaud you for your transparency.
Thank you.
And then a lot of times, being able to put what you put out there was very, very brave. Unlike the sister back here, you was telling my story, but you was reading my mail, right? But what I did get out of this is when I read the topic of your session, does my past define me? I wrote on the side, no, my past does not define me. It has refined me. Because through going through those things that I went through
Right.
and allowing recovery to take place and allowing God to step in and remove some of those things, now I'm better able to go back and help the other woman
Right.
that's still
Exactly.
struggling with those things.
So true. Amen. So true.
Hats
That-
off.
That's good. Thank you. So, I know it's hard making that first step a lot of times. For me, like I said, I just thought there was a time I had just dropped my youngest off at school, drove into my garage. I had to be to work at, I think it was like 11, 12 o'clock. And I drove in my garage and I shut the door down and I didn't turn my car off. And I went, you know what? Time to check out. My mom and sister could do a better job than I'm doing. They'll take care of it. I don't have a problem, with my kids getting taken care of. And I sat in my car. I was listening to Christian radio. Chuck Swindoll came on. And as if God himself was saying, what are you doing? It ain't the end. I was in that garage 20 minutes. And I heard God say, lift that door up. Turn that car off. We got stuff to do. And I went, and I'm crying because I'm like, it's over and I don't know. And blah, blah. I got out the car. He said, go in there, get your shower and get ready for work. The message that I heard through Chuck Swindoll was, I got you. It ain't over. It's just not over. And at that time, I thought, after I thought about this, that when God created Chuck Swindoll, and when he got in his ministry, and that he knew that this woman here was going to need to hear this message, and he made him just for such a time as that for me. I'm telling you, Lord have mercy, you did that for me. I don't think I ever told my kids that, but I was at that amount of despair. And I just thought, you love me, you see me. The little, like he told Abram, the sand, he saw that kernel of me and said I was worth it. I'm telling you. So I say that to say it's worth it. Step. Lord, step to your glory, step to your purpose, and know that God would never leave you down a path that he ain't down with you, that he knows at the end of it is we're victors, and I got this. It's always in God, it's always good and always true. I hope that helps y'all. Thank you again for your time. I really do. You know what? I thought I don't have my. That's what I was thinking. I thought I had it on there. Thank you. Let me see. Come on.